And hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Guys Talking Sports. I'm Pat McDonald with Choice 102 and Radigan Media. He is Tim Birdie of the Sports Report. Tim, coming up, we're going to be talking with Sayre volleyball coach Colby Sangrey. So let's talk volleyball. What have you seen so far this year? Obviously, kind of halfway through the season.
Well, obviously, Sayre off to a 5-3 start, number one seed right at this point in the District 4 Class A. Pretty fun story. I mean, one of the bigger stories of the fall for me here in the Valley. We've got Tioga right now defending Class C champs in Section 4, playing very well, but they've got some real competition this year. Lansing, 2 years removed from a Class B state title, has dropped down to Class C. Then you've got Candor, Class D, reigning state champions. They're undefeated. They've got Nicola Soper back. She's a stud in the middle for them. Still working towards 100% after a major knee surgery. They're going to be a team to contend with. Another state title is a possibility. Owego in Class A is undefeated. Class A. I double checked there. Am I thinking? They're undefeated. I'm not sure. I think they've got a real shot at another section title. So it's going to be a fun fall here. We're moving forward. Charity Myers at Spencer Vanetten's done a really nice job with that program. You know, they're going to be competition in Class C, but Class C is pretty strong. You can also throw Trumansburg in the mix there. Then you head up the Elmira way. Corning looks pretty good. They lost to Tioga in the finals of the Tioga tournament. So they beat Lansing, who had beaten Tioga earlier in a different tournament, and then Tioga turned around and beat Corning. So to talk about medal on medal, all these that's what I love about Section 4 volleyball. They play each other a lot at different tournaments and stuff. So, and a lot of times Tioga will have a tournament, and they'll have some of the best teams from there. And Owego's having one this weekend. Candor will be there. So you get to see a lot of good volleyball, and all these programs get better and better just playing each other and beating on each other. Looking
at the NTL volleyball standings, Wellsboro on top of the large school. 4-0 in the division, 6-1 in the league, 8-2 overall. Weird seeing losses next to North Penn Liberty, especially in the league side of things. But they're still in second place with Troy. Then Towanda and Athens bringing up the rear there.
Well, Wellsboro had to rally to beat Towanda in 5 sets last night. So, that's a pretty good division.
Absolutely. Towanda 5-5 overall, just struggling in the league a little bit, but some close losses. Sayre, like you said, on top of that small school division, but Canton's right there with them. I know that was a 5-set win for Sayre earlier in the year against Canton. So
this is just last week, yeah.
And then they'll play later on. Let's see when they play here for Canton. It's not until the 16th of October. So, the final couple games will be Canton, Athens, and Wyalusing for Sayre heading in to the District 4 playoffs. And we'll talk more with Coach Sangrey about the District 4 playoffs and his goals heading into the year. Who would have thought we'd be talking district title with Sayre volleyball when we started things this year?
I did expect them to win 4 or 5 matches this year. They've already exceeded that. We're not even halfway into the season, so he's done a nice job.
Yeah, really, really great to see the Lady Redskins doing so well. And we'll talk with Coach Sangrey here in just a minute. Soccer, I know some of our teams, especially in the Valley area, are struggling, and some are. I mean, Athens boys seem to be really strong this year with new coach Travis Renard.
Yeah, they've played 9 games, given up 2 goals, and both of those came in a 2-1 loss at Elmira, another very good soccer team. So, yeah, I think, Athens looks like the class of the NTL. I mean, it's still to be determined. They haven't given up a goal yet in the NTL. But they've beaten all comers so far, so we'll see. I'd still like to see them scoring a few more goals, but if you can get one and make it hold, it doesn't really matter how many you score.
Yeah, I know. And I heard going into the Elmira game, kind of Coach Renard was in the Wildcats were thinking, Elmira's averaging, almost double digits, I think, in some games. They were trying to hold them under 4 or 5, and to make it a 2-1 game, that's pretty impressive against the talented Elmira squad.
And that Elmira team had only given up 2 goals going into that game, And
I know. Give credit where it's due with Coach Renard as far as scheduling, because it's always Athens. They're going to be competitive in the NTL and have a chance to win it every year. It seems like, but when you go down south in the District 4, it's been a struggle most years. Jake Lezak did get him over the hump a few times, but that's with scheduling out of conference, getting his team ready. it'd always be funny when he would, have 3-4 losses in the year, but it's all the out of conference teams sometimes. And then, but that helps him get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, Rich Pitts with the Athens girls does the same thing. I mean, Athens is hamstrung by the league they play in. So in order to be competitive, you need to play as tough a non-league schedule as you can.
Absolutely. So where is girls soccer at right now?
I believe they're second behind Troy, and they play Troy tomorrow night at home.
So big one there coming up for the Lady Wildcats, and that's always a fun rivalry, them and Troy.
And back to volleyball. Sayre volleyball's at home tomorrow night with Williamson. So that's a big game for them.
Yeah, it'll be tonight, I think, when this comes out.
Correct.
But,
Correct.
Exciting stuff happening. We talk football a lot on this podcast, but we love to talk the other sports as well. Golf, I know NTL just wrapped up their season. Towanda, congrats to them. Team champs over there at Corey Creek. But an Athens Wildcat won the individual
sophomore Ty Owen won the NTL Gold. Big for him. He and Eli Hicks both have a pretty good shot at districts. We'll see. The only problem is they only take 2 kids to states, and each of the last 2 years it was Evan Cooper and Eli Hicks battling it out for a spot. So only one of them could go. So we'll see this year. Maybe we can get 2 Wildcats to states, and then in New York State, if you listen to the podcast with Pat and Taylor, you've heard my little rant about Section 4 golf. The Stack plays golf in the fall, and New York State playoffs, or the New York State postseason, is in the spring. Well, Waverly sophomore Griff Walter qualified for sectionals, so he'll have an opportunity to qualify to play in the spring. So it's convoluted.
So sectionals in the spring too,
or
sectionals in the fall.
They have because the IAC and the MAC play in the spring. They do a individual medalists, and it's like kind of convoluted.
But then they'll have to play in again in the spring to qualify.
Yeah.
So the good news for Griff, at least he's got some options in the Twin Tiers here for indoor golf. Ulster has one now. Owego and Vestal and all those places have different indoor golf ranges now. So it's good news there for the guys that. And I agree with you. It's ridiculous that they play.
I'm sure you could get something set up in the Waverly Sports Complex.
Yeah,
and a few golf balls in there too.
So before we head on over to our interview with Sayre volleyball coach Colby Sangrey, we want to throw it to our sponsor, UHS Sports Medicine.
UHS Sports Medicine is your team's partner, keeping you healthy both on and off the field. Learn more at nyuhs.org.
And joining us now here on Two Guys Talking Sports is Sayre volleyball coach Colby Sangrey. How are we doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Colby, we talked in the preseason. You guys came into the season with a long losing streak, went 0-2 to run it to 66. Now you've reeled off 5 wins in the last 6 games. Just your thoughts in general before we get into any specifics on the start of the season right now.
I'm super, super happy with how the girls have been playing. They're playing together. They're playing with energy, and they're wanting to learn. And they're doing that, and they're taking advantage of every opportunity they've been given, and they've been running with it. So I think they had the mindset at the beginning of the season, well, this is a new team, and nothing matters except what's happening now. So had those 2 games against Liberty and Wellsboro right at the beginning, played them really tough against 2 really good teams, and then I told them if they keep working, good things will happen, and that's what's been going on.
You said that you came in here 4 years assistant coach at North Penn Liberty, and you said that you came in here not knowing a lot about the program, and it was a kind of a clean slate for you. Do you think that worked to your advantage?
I think so, yeah. I think having a fresh start with everybody. I had a year of teaching in here at Sayre, so I kind of got to know the girls a little bit beforehand before being their coach. I think that definitely helps. I think over half the team at this point I've either had as a student or currently have. And I think that's a big part of building that relationship for coaching. But yeah, like I said, starting with a clean slate, brand new team, it's the mindset that I and the whole team have brought this season.
Did anybody ask you are you crazy taking this job? I mean, after the struggles Sayre have had, but like you said, that it also, when you go into a job like this, there's no pressure really as a coach. You're not expected to win 10 matches the first year after 60-some losses in a row. But was there, what was your thoughts going into a job like this? Obviously a total rebuild.
We're just focused on progress, like one game, one practice at a time. When we did team goals at the beginning of the season, and when I made my own goals, I'm not putting numbers on anything. Like I'm not saying, hey, I'm going to shoot for 5 wins or 10 wins this first season. I'm just working to play good volleyball, work harder and get better as each practice and each game throughout the season goes by.
Let's talk a little bit about your squad individually. Riley Lance has been through the wars with this program for 3 years. You've got some really good young players.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on your freshmen and sophomores there?
I'm super happy with what I have to work with. Like you said, Riley's the senior playing varsity. We got her playing middle now. She's been set in the past 2 years. I think that's her natural position. She's killing it. She's being a leader with the experience on the court. Alex Shack, my only junior, is coming in with a lot of experience at libero. She does great things in the back row for us. She's the hype person on the court, keeping everybody up. Just fantastic at her spot. Got a lot of sophomores. Reagan McGaughy, super athletic, always hustles, always working, always trying to get better. And again, bringing that energy to the team to keep us up. Yale Dune, fantastic setter for us. She's kind of been put into a big role. One, running an offense by herself for the first time and doing so at a varsity level. She's had a big task, and I think she's really taking control of that. She's learning a lot, and she keeps getting better every game that we play. Grace Russo, my DS, she's awesome. Lays out for every ball, 100% hustle, never quits. Great leader on the court. And then I've got 2 newish sophomores. Azalea McClenny is running middle for us. This is her first time playing at a varsity level. She's working hard. She working hard every game of practice, or just taking all the information in, taking it one game at a time and playing smart volleyball. Emily Strickland playing right side, focusing on putting that block up against the outsides. She's doing great work at her first varsity experience. Again, one of those kids that's always asking how I can do this better, how I can do that better, wanting to learn. And I think that's all of my sophomores.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one that really stands out to me right now, you move her a little bit all over the place, was your freshman, Lily Shack.
Yep, Lily Shack.
And she looks like she can really hit the ball too.
Yes.
So, is that her future? But, talk a little bit about what she's doing now and where she may play into things for you.
You don't often see freshmen come in with the skills that she does, and throwing her into a varsity scene right away can be a big task, and I think that she's really taken it. Defense is fantastic. She's an awesome server. Hitting, she's super aggressive, wanting to put the ball away. And I think getting that varsity experience now as a freshman and continuing that, I think we're going to progress super nicely and come along.
Sayre volleyball's been waiting a long time to have this kind of season. Have you seen the community start to rally around it a little bit?
Absolutely. Every single one of our home games has been packed. We've got lots of fans in the gym. Lots of, I hear from parents and teachers and just other people in the community about what's going on with Sayre volleyball, and people are asking and they're interested. So we have that support from the community and the district, and that's been awesome to let people know what's going on with our program, because I think they're doing really big things right now.
You talked about your preseason goals, but now we're almost halfway through the season. You guys are 5-3, sitting at the top of the district standings. Have you guys talk more about, maybe new goals now that you're sitting where you are?
Yep, we just sat down on Friday and we kind of talked about, hey, these were the goals we made at the beginning of the season. And some of them were winning a couple games. Some of them were playing together as a team, playing with energy, just playing tough every single match. And when we looked at them, we're like, okay, we've gotten to some of these goals. Like, so what next? And we talked to them about what the rest of the season looks like, the position that we're in, and where we can go from here. So we had them make more goals to just go for the rest of the season. That way we always have something that we're working towards.
I'm looking forward, obviously, October 21st, a match against Athens. You're newish to the rivalry, I guess.
Yep.
These two schools. It's been a while since it's been competitive, right? So what are you expecting? That's home in the TP, right? So that's huge. Or no, it's at Athens. I'm sorry, it's at Athens.
Yep.
That would have been better if it's a home for you. But at Athens, what are you expecting crowd-wise? And are the girls, is that something they've talked about, or are they just focus on match after match?
We've just been focusing on match after match, but I think they know and we know that it's going to be a great game for us. I think every match from here on out is going to be great. But Athens specifically, Coach Darrow is an awesome coach. She works with those girls so much, and them having a young team too, just like us.
And it's a big win for you, points-wise, in the district too.
Right, right, right.
If you guys can get it.
Right.
So, what? Speaking of which, big game tomorrow night too.
Mm-hmm.
You guys already played Williamson once.
Mm-hmm.
Tough. You gave him a pretty good tussle there. What needs to change tomorrow night for you guys to come out on the side of the W?
We worked on some things in the past couple of practices. They've got some good hitters. So we've really been working on our defense, specifically against the outsides, playing smart volleyball, just minimizing our mistakes. So the games that we've won were the ones that we really minimized mistakes. We made a couple more when we were out there. So I think when we clean those up, we're looking at giving ourselves a good shot to be able to take it.
Okay. Obviously, you came over with experience with a good program over there at Liberty. You had some talent here, though, at Sayre. You couldn't not just your great coaching, right? But did the buy-in happen right away from these girls with your philosophy and your plans for
I
the
think
team?
so. Absolutely, yeah. They were just super excited to start the season. I mean, all these girls just love playing volleyball. They put it all out on the court every practice, every game. So honestly, the buy-in wasn't hard to get. Really what Coach Higley and I have been trying to do is just create that positive environment where they can thrive and they can work with each other. And that's what we're giving them now, and they're really using it to their advantage.
Speaking of North Penn, been over at Liberty, they've had some tremendous success in not only District 4, but at the state level the last 5 to 10 years. Having worked with the coaching staff over there for 4 years, did you bring some of what you learned over there, those philosophies with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that was my first coaching experience, and there's a big difference between being a coach and being a player. And up until that point, I'd only had experience as a player in high school and college. So being able to work under Mitch Stetter there, who'd been coaching, volleyball and other sports a lot, really was able to teach me a lot about the coaching side of things. The volleyball stuff I can take care of, but the coaching stuff is really what I was able to bring from there over to here, and kind of use what I know to kind of help shape this program.
You talked about your playing career. Obviously, we don't have men's volleyball here at the high school level, other than a few years where a boy would be on a girls' team and cause controversy and all that. Mm-hmm. But what kind of give people your background on playing in high school and college?
So I'm from downstate, and we do have boys volleyball in high school down there. So I did play my senior year in high school. And then in college, I did play club. My schools didn't have an actual men's team, but I did play club. So we got to go around and play other universities and colleges. In a real setting, it's just not NCAA sanctioned. So I kept busy with that. Been in volleyball ever since high school, and even now I play. Pick up tournaments whenever I can, usually outside of volleyball season, just to stay in the game.
So, we've talked about this team and this roster, but you're in this for the long haul, I would think. considering your age. And, my question, I guess, is you've only got, 2 seniors?
Yep.
This year? Mm-hmm. So you bring back quite a bit next year. Your JV team has been winning some games. How are your numbers on junior high, and what's the future look like for Sayre volleyball?
Junior high is looking great. We've got 18 right now and a couple more that weren't able to play. But that's split right down the middle with 9 8th graders and 9 7th graders. So next year we're going to get hopefully at least 9, if not a couple more girls coming up ready to play. Our rec program out of the elementary school, we've got 15 or 16 girls from grades 4 through 6 on there. So we're kind of starting to build the numbers, and they're coming up through the program. And I think having those years of experience before we get to the JV varsity level is going to be huge.
I'm sure the varsity winning will help keep some of those girls interested in the program coming up through, right?
I think so, yeah. And that's one of the conversations that we've had with the girls. It's like, so we're trying to, we're remaking Sayre volleyball now. So we're setting the tone for what we want this program to be. And they're kind of getting the girls that are younger than them interested. Like at our rec games, like I'm there watching, and the elementary kids they're doing the same cheers as our varsity girls. Like they're watching them at the high school games, and they're taking that back to their own, which I think is awesome.
Last question for me. Your assistant coach, Liz Higley, was one of the best volleyball players ever come out of Sayre. Played at college, coached here for a little while. How instrumental has she been for you coming into to a new job and getting things rolling? It's
been fantastic having another volleyball mind that I can bounce ideas off of. Like I was thinking back to our first like the scrimmage tournament that we had at the beginning of the season. We were running through some rotations and we're just getting stuck on one rotation. I couldn't figure out what to do, and she's there offering different suggestions, and we were able to work through them and implement that as part of the program. So she's got a lot of volleyball knowledge that she's bringing. Nice having someone to talk volleyball stuff with, get in depth, throw ideas off of, and she's great with our girls too. So really, really blessed to have her as a coach with me.
My last question, I know you talked goals earlier and you changed them a little bit. I'm going to ask Tim first. Has Sayre ever won a district title in volleyball?
I don't believe so.
So, you're sitting top of the standings. Canton's right there. That was a 5-set match, right? So a good match earlier. But, how big would that be? Is that now on the girls' minds of that? Have they looked at the standings? Have you talked to them about it? And how big would that be to kick off this program, the rebirth of this program, if you can get to a district final even and possibly win a district title?
Yeah, when we had our conversation last Friday, we just talked about the options and the opportunities that we have now, just because we haven't been at this point. So kind of just letting them know what's going on. But at the same time, we're taking it one game at a time. If that's what we're focused on and we keep playing our games, like I've been telling them, the good things will happen. So just focus on taking the next one, working hard. Even taking a loss, it's not a big deal. Like always working towards that next game and working towards improving. Good things will happen.
Yeah, the good news is I think Athens is hosting districts again, right? It used to be at Williamson all the time, and Liberty loved it over there. I'm sure.
Right? Yeah. I was like, when they got switched over,
now it's at Athens. So that's good for you guys, obviously. That is Sayre volleyball coach Colby Sangrey. Coach, thanks for stopping by. Two Guys Talking Sports. Good luck the rest of this year, and if you're out there listening, get over and watch a Sayre volleyball match, because probably the story of the fall so far is the Sayre Lady Redskins volleyball team. But Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We want to thank Sayre volleyball coach Colby Sangrey for stopping by. Two Guys Talking Sports. Good luck the rest of the year as the Lady Redskins on I would call it a historic run to start the 2025 season.
It could be a pretty interesting rest of the season for them. It sets up to win a lot of matches.
Yeah, they got some NTL large school opponents coming up, and like we said on the podcast or interview with Coach Sangrey, that Athens doesn't have a ton of wins as we speak right now, but big points for Sayre if they can get a rivalry win over the Lady Wildcats coming up later on in October, right before the playoffs start. Let's switch gears. We haven't really talked much college sports or pro sports on the podcast yet so far in season 2. Big weekend of college football. I know you don't have a wedding this weekend, but you are on the road on Saturday. So it's a tough one. I love the memes and stuff on Twitter and other social media where like, if somebody invites you to a wedding this weekend, just cancel. Just don't go because you got some big games, including Alabama, Georgia, and then the whiteout, Penn State and Oregon. Some other ranked matchups as well, LSU and Ole Miss. So yes, a great weekend of college football.
So who you like, Penn State or Oregon?
I mean, I'm a Penn State guy, so I do think I'm assuming Penn State's been holding back, not showing their offense when they play the Sisters of the Poor the first 3 weeks of the year. Their defense is legit. I think they can hang with most, although Oregon's offense gives you problems that most don't. That
Dante Moore looks pretty good right now.
They have not been to the whiteout yet at night in a game at Penn State. I'm not sure if Oregon's ever played at Penn State before. But a whiteout at night's different, thank God. I think it's NBC this week has it and not Fox, because Fox would have put it at noon. So thank God for that. But yeah, we'll see. I think Penn State's got two of the best running backs in the country. They've been pretty, that when they can lean on them. And Aller, he hasn't shown much this year. Receivers look better, but they haven't shown much offensively. It's, almost like the Eagles in the first half against the Rams where they didn't, throw downfield, then they open it up in the second half. I'm expecting Penn State to open it up here.
Yeah, if I were a Penn State guy, I would feel much better if I had like a Michigan State or somebody in between the three games and Oregon. But walking from that competition into an Oregon game against Oregon, even if it is home in the whiteout, it has me a little uneasy.
Coming off a bye too, it's a weird.
Yeah, so I'm just, if I were a Penn State guy, I'd feel a little uneasy about this weekend. I mean, I can see Penn State winning the game at home. Oregon's not exactly a program built on big wins either. They get into this situation a lot of times and kind of choke on the bit. But this should be a pretty fun game, I think.
It was a heck of a game last year in the Big Ten Championship. Obviously, Oregon got up big a little bit, and Penn State kept coming back. So should be fun to watch. Alabama, Georgia. I mean, Alabama, I think this coach needs this win.
I think so.
I don't know if he's going to get it. I think you might see a coaching change at Alabama if he goes, 9-3. That's just not, people forget. And before Saban, Alabama wasn't great. They had a losing season back in the early 2000s. But
and Saban's record was the same as DeBoer's was his first year compared to DeBoer's same record. So
he was taking over a much different situation at Alabama.
But DeBoer didn't walk into, they lost a lot to the transfer portal when Saban left. So, it wasn't like he was walking into a guaranteed national champion.
I think his problem has been more the off-field stuff that that's always happens. You get leaks when you're struggling a little bit. I saw one thing about how players were up and around at 2 a.m. in the hotel before a game, stuff like that. So different stuff that goes on. LSU Ole Miss. At first, wasn't a Lane Kiffin guy, but I've grown to like him more and more, and I like Ole Miss, and I'm not a Brian Kelly guy, so I'll be rooting for Ole Miss.
As Kiffin has matured, let's say he's curbed his enthusiasm as far as his mouth. So he's learned a little bit. He's learned a little bit of couth in his older age. No doubt about his X's and O's. He's a pretty sharp guy. Brian Kelly. I thought when Notre Dame hired Brian Kelly that he was going to be the guy because the way he was able to work with quarterbacks at Cincinnati, I figured walking into Notre Dame and be able to bring in and develop quarterbacks that he was going to be the guy. And, Marcus Freeman's already surpassed him in a couple years. So, I'm kind of rooting for Ole Miss, but I think LSU gets him.
Yeah, Brian Kelly lost me when the videos of him screaming at like interns on the sidelines and stuff. When
was he doing it in a Cajun accent?
Then the fake accents and all that. Yeah, he's just something off about that guy. I don't know what it is, but Ole Miss. I like them at home. It's at home, so Ole Miss. It's always a tough place to play there. Auburn, Texas A&M, another decent game there. I like A&M in that one. Notre Dame. Who do your Irish got this week? At Arkansas, right?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I watched. I didn't get to see Texas A&M game. Thankfully, they lost 41-40. I think their defensive coordinator hiring was not a very good one. They Al Golden, they lost him to the Bengals. They bring in Chris Ash, and they couldn't stop Miami. They couldn't get any pressure on the quarterback. Then they gave up 41 points to Texas A&M, who's a solid program, obviously, but not anybody you'd think would put 41 on a defense that's got quite a bit back from last year. Then I watched that game against Purdue, and I'll be damned, they just started running the football. Where was that the first against Miami? You got everybody says Jeremiah Love is a preseason, Heisman guy, and he had the ball, carried it 10 times against Miami. Well, and then they've got, they got another running back who runs downhill, and he's a big bruiser, and they gave him, he had 2 touchdowns last week. So I just I've been scratching my head a little bit in the first 3 games. But I think last week they kind of figured out where they needed to be offensively. So I think you're going to see them line it up, and Arkansas is going to have to jam the box. And if they do that, C.J. Carr's pretty good, and he's got some decent receivers. So I like Notre Dame in this game.
Yeah, I think I do too. I mean, Arkansas, I think this coach is on the hot seat too over there in Arkansas. He was not expected to go 2-2 to start, I don't think. They lost to Memphis last week, but at home, Arkansas will give them a run, I'm sure. Some sneaky good games, though, other than the one big ones. Indiana, number 11, at Iowa. Iowa's unranked, but at Iowa, it's not a night game at Iowa. It's still a tough place to play over there.
Well, Indiana put it on Illinois last week.
Yeah, that was crazy. USC at Illinois this week, too. We'll see if USC's Oregon was able to come into the Big Ten, obviously win it and go do pretty well. USC, they're 4-0 this year. We'll see.
I think this is the best team they've had, in a while. I think Notre Dame's got to go 10-2. They have to win out if they want any chance to get into the playoffs. And they play USC, and that's going to be with this. They're going to have to play well defensively or win a shootout.
Yeah, Notre Dame added some good teams to their schedule this year. Some of the teams they always have used to be really good. Stanford and USC, and now they're not great games to play. USC's better. Stanford's the one that's really gone off a cliff, I guess, ever since David Shaw there. Not Waverly David Shaw. Stanford David Shaw left the Cardinal program there. We have big game or big weekend in college football, big weekend in high school football here, as we're going to have Athens-Wellsboro, big NTL game, and then the big one on Saturday, Main Endville hosting Owego. We'll have both games on our radio stations, Athens on The Choice and Owego on WEBO. Before we wrap this thing up, let's send it to our sponsor, UHS Sports Medicine.
UHS Sports Medicine is your team's partner, keeping you healthy both on and off the field. Learn more at nyuhs.org.
And that is going to do it for this week's Two Guys Talking Sports. We want to thank both our guests this week, Owego coach Patton Taylor, and then tonight's guest, Colby Sangrey from the Sayre Lady Redskins volleyball program. We're hoping to have Colby back on when Sayre keeps rolling here. And it should be a fun season for volleyball, wrapping up the next 10 matches or so before the playoffs.
I think we got a chance to have a district title for Sayre. I think Tioga, Candor, Owego, Corning all have chances to win Section 4 titles. It's going to be a pretty good fall.
And boys soccer, some exciting times between Athens boys and Elmira boys, too. We'll see if
Corning boys, too.
And Corning and those guys. I think Athens might play Corning even coming up in boys soccer. But that will do it for this week's episode of Two Guys Talking Sports. For Tim Burney, I'm Pat McDonald signing off. We'll talk to you next week.